Somewhat in the same spirit, this brief passage from Dante. This mountain of release is such that the ascent is most painful at the start, below. The more you rise, the milder it will be. And when the slope feels gentle to the point that climbing up sheer rock is effortless as though you were gliding downstream in a boat, then you will have arrived where this path ends. Amen. Please make yourselves at home, make yourselves comfortable. Well, as most of you know, we went away for a week. And we went to an island to forget the inescapable sorrows of the world. Yeah. Well, on this island, there is a labyrinth that I'm going to preach about, but there's also a maze. Mazes and labyrinths are not the same thing. Although I think that distinction is blurred and we use the words interchangeably, but it ain't so. I'll tell you about the maze on the island briefly. We've been there. It's up on a bluff. The bluff overlooks the sea. There's a path right along the edge of the bluff, very dramatic, wonderful views. Inland from that, it's a big nature preserve, and it's all scrub. You know what I mean? From islands, little pines, little bushes, little things that get about. Just high enough so you can't see over them, but the salt air and the wind are such that they never grow very tall. And there's briars, and there's poison ivy, and there's all sorts of things, and it's very thick. It is through that scrub that some talented yet fiendish soul has carved a maze. It's a series of paths and all these crossroads and all these choices you have to make. So Connie and I went in there one hot summer day years ago, and we were walking and it was fun and you couldn't figure out where you were, but always just over there you could hear the ocean. So good, I think. At least we can't get lost. There's the Atlantic Ocean. It goes right from there to Portugal. I know where we are on this globe. So we just followed the path along. We were having a good time. It was really hot. We were getting tired, hungry, thirsty. It's about time to get out of this maze. We didn't leave a trail of breadcrumbs. And if we had, some confusing fall warbler would have eaten them anyway. So we tried to figure out how to get out. Duh, you can hear the ocean right there. Every time we come to a crossroads, we'll choose the one that's leading towards the ocean. So that seemed like a good plan, but you choose the one that's leading towards the ocean, it winds around and you go here and there, and then you come to another crossroads. And you choose the one that looks like it would go towards the ocean, and you go winding here and there, and you end up some other place and another crossroad. We really couldn't get out. is that the time we found the prayer flags on the way to escape to Corn Neck Road? Yeah, we sort of found an unscheduled exit and got the hell out of there. So that's a maze. It contains dead ends and wrong turns, and it is designed to deceive. It's not about achieving or succeeding. It's about surviving being in a maze. But on the same island, there's also a labyrinth. Now,
Wait.
that previous one was a maze.
Oh, really? Okay.
She really knows the difference. I just asked her to do that, so you know. Yeah. A labyrinth is one path, just one. It's a curving, doubling path, and this particular one is not very big. It's between some sort of green and yellow trampled grass. There's a rut, the little path, it's as wide as your foot, worn on a sandy hill that's about, the hill itself is about 2 steps away from being a dune, but there's some grass on it, and this well-worn path. There's a center, there's a beginning to a labyrinth, and then there's a center, what you're seeking. We've walked it several times over the years, and at some points in it, you get on the path, you just keep walking straight ahead. It is not complicated. You just follow the loops and follow the loops, and sometimes you are led to be walking clockwise. Sometimes you're turned around and you're walking counterclockwise. But if you walk it, you'll get there. It's easy to do, but what the end is elusive when you get there. Is it the end, your end? Is it home? Is it inner peace? Is it a trap for evil? Is it your true self? Is it the womb of the universe? Is it a safe place? How do I know all these possibilities? Because there's a sign-in book at the beginning where people leave faint impressions of the deep impression that the labyrinth left on them. And everyone's experience is different. But anyway, whatever the hell it is, you do get to the center. But the tricky thing is you're not farthest from the center at the start. It turns out you start sort of near the middle. In this 11-course labyrinth that we were walking, you begin at 7, almost halfway there. And as you start out, you're sort of curving inwards towards the center. That seems to make sense. But if you keep following the path, it takes you nearer still, and then yet further from. So it's almost like being a kid playing a guessing game. You're warm, you're warmer, you're almost hot. Ooh, cold, oh, colder, coldest. Midway on the journey, you are on the longest orbit, furthest away from home. And all your momentum seems to be leading you outward, about to hurl you out of this little solar system. And it's terrible to be so cold and isolated among the chaos. Midlife crisis, anyone? Divorce? Menopause? All of the above? Yeah, most of us have been there. But it's not too long before suddenly the turns lean in, away from loneliness and analysis. The labyrinth is sort of a slow motion carnival ride. Let me see, I get these right. Centripetal force and then centrifugal force. You're being thrown out and thrown in on your loop. But at any rate, it leads away from exile. And suddenly, all the paths lead home. And they had been, all along, even when I walked the circuit of the horizon. Oh, me of little faith. It's one path that looks like 11. It is one rut that looks like fate. It's a music, a little bit softer now. It's music, a little bit louder now. It is one long snake, undulant and riding the hill, riding time. It's one long snake that you can ride. It's not a mosaic, it is of one piece. It is a solitary way down invisible tributaries toward a source which is for some the spring and for some the sea. Well, I wrote this over the week, and I get up early on Sunday morning just to take another look at things. And I get up so early that it allows me time to freak out. This is good. Freak out, good. If you take one thing away from this, freak out, good. Because I'm reading this thing that I've written, just kind of put in the commas and stuff, and this sermon wanders like the labyrinth, sort of hoping towards home. But to be honest, because otherwise why bother preaching? If you're not going to be honest, then why bother listening? If you ain't going to be honest. This time on the island, the labyrinth eluded me. In the process of getting there, I hadn't been there. I didn't want the metaphor. I needed the mess it stands for. Now, this was on the day before No King's Day. And I didn't want the metaphor. I needed the mess that it stands for. And on this planet, children starve. Surplus food rots. And in the people, many people, hope starves and faith rots from within. In our country now, so far from our beginnings, so far from liberty, and yet I think if we'd known this at the beginning, there would have been no start, no journey, no country. We'd have been intimidated. It's like having a kid. If you knew everything that was going to be involved, you might not have one. We had to be able to leave, to be able to come home. But remember the labyrinth. The greatest distance doesn't mean the longest time. What you cover in time is not always the same as what you cover in distance. And we are headed to the heart of the matter in this country. I feel momentum. And I think we are headed home. That's nice. A happy home, a broken home. That is not ours to know. It is ours to go to. And yet, I do believe the way does lead home. The end is seldom where and rarely when we expect. But there is more love by the wayside. There is more love right here, right there, than you know. And on the island, the next day was the No Kings protest, which meant a lot for me. I got to digress briefly to say that 22 years ago, we were out on the island just shortly after President George W. Bush and Dick Cheney had decided to invade Iraq. I'm sure you all remember that. So we were there, and our landlord, the guy who runs the little inn where we were staying, said to me, hey, we're going to have a peace vigil today because of the invasion. Would you like to come? I said, yes, I would like to come. We went down to Water Street, right on the harbor, and there were 3 or 4 Quakers there and our host, and we stood there and held peace signs for the cars going by and the people walking by, but we couldn't, or they didn't talk to anybody. But I'm not a Quaker and I can't keep my mouth shut. So I started talking to everybody, and they said, boy, you know more people on the island than we do. Just open your mouth. You'd be surprised what flies in and what flies out. But, so then I came home from that little vacation and we started our weekly Monday peace demonstration here in West Cummington, which is now found, I think, a permanent home on Route 9 in front of the graveyard. Certainly all our neighbors are in a permanent home, so maybe we are too. Anyway, this was fun because the No Kings Day demonstration was in that same place all these years later, and what a different spirit at the No Kings Day rally than at the silent vigil. And like the ones that you went to, I'm sure there were signs. There were good signs. There were funny signs. There were completely idiosyncratic signs. Somebody had a big sign that said 3.5. You really got to be into this to know 3.5%.
Oh, right?
Yeah. But this big sign just said 3.5. Everybody there seemed to know what it was about. So I thought, I am in good company. but they were idiosyncratic. So one said, Shady JD, loves lion, hates chowder.
Hey, so what?
Chowder!
Chowder.
Chowder! You're not from Rhode Island. So I thought, I mean, what more need you say to completely discredit the man? Loves lion and hates chowder. There was one lady was in this beautiful butterfly costume. She had wings, she had sort of flowing black and orange tails. She had little butterfly antennae. And on the back, she had pinned a sign. Oh, clearly she was a monarch butterfly, right?
All right.
Yeah, that said wings, not kings. And there was music, and there was good humor. It wasn't slicing humor. Towards the end of the vigil, a car went by, and the Water Street, the little street there is very narrow. And this pretty big car with Connecticut plates came down the street, and it had a giant banner. And you see them hanging from flagpoles, so it must have been about 10 feet long, and it was draped over the center of the car, so the guy could see out the front and back windows. And the banner said, Trump 2024. So he'd taken it down off his flagpole, adorned his car with it that day, and drove by. And as I said, it was good humor at the group. And this gentleman tested and proved that, because people did not, and he would go bam, 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 as he went down the street at 3 miles an hour. But what the people's reaction was, they were laughing but friendly and saying, join us, join us.
And they also said, we love you too.
Oh, that's
Yes,
great.
yes, they said, we love you too. Thank you. And those people, they're usually a small demonstration, but for No Kings Day, there were over 200 people in a place that has about 1,000 residents. So it was good attendance. And they were feeling sort of a West Cummington kind of more love in that community, they said. They were surprised. They were amazed and rewarded and brave again. It seems that in life at the start, we are furthest from the end. But at the end, or towards the end, I'm learning, we're not furthest from the start. I understand so much more than when I was young. And I understand that there is more love for you than you can imagine. Even in the most unimaginable place, the original maze or labyrinth, probably both, your heart. So we got to make a path there, through that darkness, that deep woods, that doubling back path. You have no heart until you have won it back. are times in life you lose it, you have to win it back. And it's not your life until you take it back. There's no country if we don't work it, want it, don't suddenly see it again for the first time. Just as there is no authentic self, as Allison from the J.S. Bryant School says, there's no authentic self unless you want it and work it and suddenly come upon it again as though for the first time realizing who you are. So we've got to make a way there, sisters, brothers, all. We got to make a way, as Dr. King always said, we got to make a way out of no way. God is there. And let the love that Jesus preaches and teaches, that we've been learning about in the Jesus and the Disinherited book, his love that realizes that we are all children of God. Not one bit more than that, not one bit less than that. No one is more than you. No one is less than you. Judge not, lest ye be judged. No one is judging you when we realize we're all just children of God. Let that be the lamp unto your feet. And just keep walking until your way is God's way. Thank you. Amen.
So we were going to sing, I Want Jesus. We were going to sing, I Want Jesus to Walk With Me, but I don't think it's really perfect, Stephen. So I think we need to sing There's More Love Somewhere. And next week, maybe we'll get to I Want Jesus to Walk With Me, because it's a really beautiful hymn. But we really need to sing number 127.
127 in your homemade book.
And whatever the verses are in there, you can kind of don't take them seriously, because we will sing what we sing. And I don't know yet.